Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now? He's like, no, I want to wait till 2026. I'm like, okay.
To put on weight?
Put all the steroids, every steroid.
I would want. Here's the thing. I would want.
If you could let me in on some of that, whatever. I don't know the special stuff that you might be taking. I don't know.
Very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. Very dangerous. He's probably got one chance to try and counterpunch, and if he catches Joshua, he might do something. But I see that as a 100% win for Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua had a strong reaction to Jake Paul following new allegations of performance-enhancing drug use. Joe Rogan suggested that Jake might be delaying their fight to gain weight and possibly take steroids. Jake has now pushed the fight to 2026 instead of 2025, further fueling speculation about his preparation and physical changes.
That Dubois guy, though, holy man, the way he took out Anthony Joshua.
I know.
Yeah, Jake wants to fight Anthony Joshua now.
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
Said he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
And the haters online are like, yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about now?
Yeah.
They're like, what about fight him now? He's like, no, I want to wait till 2026. I'm like, okay.
To put on weight?
Put all the steroids, every steroid they have.
I would want. Here's the thing. I would watch
venom.
it.
Oh, by the way,
scorpion venom.
Rollo reached out to me, John Rollo, my boy, and he sells this blue scorpion. He wants to get you some, Gordon.
I'll have some.
All right, I'll have him send you some.
I'll
take quadruple doses, like
yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna start slow. I'm gonna find out if I get poisoned.
Yeah, just.
What are we doing? We're drinking venom from scorpions.
That is weird.
That's weird. He's got the dopest tattoo.
A hot topic in boxing today is whether Jake Paul is using PEDs. Observers have pointed out his rapid muscle development and enhanced speed, which appear unnatural. His drastic body transformation in such a short period has raised suspicions, especially since he continues to defeat professionals despite having limited boxing experience.
And maybe if you could let me in on some of that, whatever. I don't know the special stuff that you might be taking. I don't know.
This nigga looks like a hot pocket, bro. Everyone says he be doing type of PEDs, and I be in a crib.
Yeah, bro. Like, there's no way. Whatever stuff I'm taking ain't working, bro.
Actually, like, what do you think it is that about Jake that makes people say that he's on something? Like, what like, is it just the fact that he's progressed so much in the sport?
Like, I don't know why I couldn't put any weight on, and you were able to put on. You said 230.
I can gain weight so easy.
This is why Jake Paul is on PEDs. Within this past year, Jake Paul has literally hit a second puberty and aged like 10 years. Furthermore, he has acne and his hairline is receding like crazy. And people like Jake Paul are going to the best skin doctors in the world and probably are taking hair loss products that aren't even approved for the rest of us. Now, I'm not saying that Jake Paul necessarily took a steroid to make him look bigger, but he's definitely taking something that allows him to recover faster. That way he's able to train more and get better at boxing quickly.
Jake Paul's ambitions extend beyond Anthony Joshua. He has also issued a challenge. The former UFC champion Alex Pereira. This bold move has shocked the combat sports world, as Pereira is known for his devastating striking ability, while Jake remains confident. Many believe he is taking on more than he can realistically handle.
And maybe if you could let me in on some of that, whatever. I don't know the special stuff that you might be taking. I don't know. No, I'm just messing with you.
This nigga looks like a hot pocket, bro. Everyone says he be doing type of PEDs, and I be in a crib.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
there's no way. Whatever stuff I'm taking ain't working, bro.
He has a terrible build, bro. If he was taking shit.
Analysts have noticed significant changes in Jake Paul's appearance, including acne, signs of aging, and a more defined physique. His previously undefined midsection has become lean and muscular, leading to speculation that he might be using PEDs. This rapid transformation has raised questions about whether he has an unfair advantage.
All of Jake Paul's power is coming from those PEDs that he's injecting. He has all this acne. Oh, his chin grew, or he's all red. These are all signs.
I see all those allegations all the time, but I need to see the evidence.
Up until we're provided with evidence that he is taking PEDs, and I'm not going to accuse him of that.
Is there a possibility that he's taking PEDs? Of course there is. But you can't just see his body transformation and completely say with 100% certainty that he's taking PEDs.
Boxing fans are perplexed by Jake Paul's ability to defeat elite professionals. After just 4 years of training, traditionally, top fighters spend decades perfecting their craft before competing at the highest level. While some attribute Jake's success to dedication, others suspect he may be benefiting from unnatural enhancements.
Over it. Those little bumps you had on your face kind of alarmed me. You wouldn't be happening to taking PEDs, are you?
Listen, if you want to build in excuses right now,
no, I'm just asking.
Go ahead.
Because I was just wondering. I looked at your face, it looked kind of serious. You had some rage and you acting all unorthodox. You know, those are signs of the PEDs.
I'm enraged. I'm not enraged at all.
Are you taking PEDs?
No, sir.
Not at all? Okay.
No, sir.
That's what I feel like. PEDs? I don't care. You better use.
In a recent interview, Jake Paul responded to allegations of steroid use, dismissing them as absurd. He claims that his progress is purely the result of hard work, strict nutrition, and intense training. Despite his statements, skepticism remains, particularly among traditional boxing fans who doubt the authenticity of his rise in the sport.
Once I'm slightly older, I'm basically gonna drink tequila and intermittent fast.
What's Jake Paul gonna look like after his boxing career?
People think I do steroids and all this shit, so I have a plan because I think it's bizarre. That's like the only excuse they can come up with is like rigged fights. Jake Paul does steroids. So after boxing, I'm gonna do a cycle of steroids to show people what Jake Paul on steroids actually looks like, because I want to shut people the up.
Sports analyst Simon Jordan has weighed in on Jake Paul's boxing career, calling it unconventional and somewhat unrealistic. He argues that transitioning from YouTube stardom to facing legendary fighters like Anthony Joshua and Canelo Alvarez does not align with traditional boxing values. While Jake has undoubtedly brought attention to the sport, some feel he has yet to earn his place among elite competitors.
As a boxing purist, it doesn't sit well, but as a normal working class lad, I've been asked by builders, would you fight Jake Paul for £5 million? I never got £5 million for fighting anyone else in a fight, so it's the silliest question in the world. I've been retired 7 years, I'm still very confident. If you give me 3 weeks to get off the couch, I'll probably still beat him with one hand. It's not. Yeah. He's not a good fighter, so it's not even being disrespectful to him. As a YouTuber, as a presenter in what he does, he blows me out the water. That's his line of work, but you're stepping into boxing, another profession. Now, to call it like Canelo out, I think is disrespectful. To call Anthony Joshua out is lunacy, but we know why it's happening and why he does it.
Forget Jake Paul. Forget Jake Paul.
A lot of tickets.
Paul, I mean, Jake Paul's going to do what Jake Paul does, but Anthony Joshua, and with respect to you and what you did and didn't earn in your career, Anthony Joshua has earned a king's ransom. Yeah. So he doesn't need to be fiddle with this, does he? Yeah.
No, he doesn't. But again, all I keep seeing from people out there is, you know, when is enough, and I get that. But when you're retired at 33, 34, and you've got to make that last, now you've got more experience than me in this, dealing with a lot of footballers in the past as well, and business people who have to make a certain amount of budget last. It's the easiest money you'll probably ever make.
Tommy Fury, who previously defeated Jake Paul, has shared his thoughts on Jake's ambitions. Fury revealed that he fought Jake with a broken hand and still managed to secure the victory. Now, with Jake targeting Anthony Joshua immensely, more skilled and powerful opponent, Fury believes the challenge is more about publicity than a serious sporting endeavor.
I wanted to give a little opinion on everything I've been seeing on social media lately. Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. Just wanted to come in and remind everybody that bum couldn't beat me when I basically had a broken hand. I had one hand and he still lost. Jake Paul, I'm still your daddy, and everybody weighing this fight up, don't bother, because he ain't worth a shilling. And the loss will always be there, Mr. Paul. Take it easy and have a good day.
Gareth A. Davies has discussed the potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, emphasizing the massive payday at stake, possibly reaching $50 million. He highlights the size and power difference, with Joshua standing at 6 feet 7 inches and significantly outweighing the 6-foot Paul. Davies questions whether Joshua will entertain the fight or dismiss it as a spectacle.
I'm not sure Anthony Joshua's going to play the game like everyone else, and it could be fairly calamitous, I think, if Joshua stepped into a ring with Jake Paul, but we're going to watch it because we want to see Jake Paul get knocked the F out. We do, everyone wants to see it. I mean, I've even said it to him. I was looking forward to Mike Tyson him knocking the fuck out. Doesn't surprise me. He's looking for the biggest names out there, and It just shows that he's prepared to put himself on the line to promote himself.
Would it be more competitive than the Ngannou fight, in your opinion, or less?
That's a very good analogy. It's a very good comparison. Much less competitive. I mean, I think it's got to be at that level of exhibition bout. I think it's a very dangerous fight for Jake Paul. Very dangerous. He's probably got one chance to try and counterpunch. And if he catches Joshua, he might do something, but I see that as a 100% win for Anthony Joshua.
He also points out Joshua's knockout ability, comparing it to a mule's kick, while acknowledging Joshua's past struggles against top-tier opponents. Despite this, he believes the bout would generate significant attention and be an exciting spectacle for fans. Many fighters have earned their biggest paydays from such matchups, even though Jake Paul has been dismissive of boxing icons.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua exclusive because I know that I will.
I'm so sorry for my English, but I have to. See, Jake Paul does lots of good things. He has a camp for kids where he, I guess, gives training and coaching and gloves and environment for kids in Puerto Rico. He helped lots of boxers to get the bigger purse than they deserve. He has done some good things, and you are kind of trying to be on his side, but then he says something like that. Like you almost are on his side, and then he says, I want to fight Anthony Joshua and Canelo at the same night or whatever. Jake, fighting Anthony Joshua and Canelo is not fighting Tyron Woodley or 60 years old Mike Tyson with Alzheimer's. Anthony Joshua is able to literally kill you. No doubt. If his mission is to kill you on the ring, he will kill you. You lost against Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury won against you. What Anthony Joshua? What Canelo, my friend? Canelo, you would need the liver replacement after Canelo fight. I promise you. So stop doing that shit. Do the good things you are doing, and we will be on your side. Just stop saying crazy shit like this.
Jake Paul frequently engages in trash talk and uses social media to challenge fighters, including Joshua. While this approach generates hype and sells tickets, boxing purists question whether he truly respects the sport. Unlike Paul, Joshua has faced some of the greatest boxers, including Alexander Usyk, a highly skilled technician who defeated Joshua twice, proving even elite heavyweights face challenges at the top.
Once the belts were finally out of my possession, which I was expecting to win, it just kind of tore me apart. And that's raw emotion live on your screen. Obviously, looking back, could I have dealt with things better? Yeah, of course. But at the time, that wasn't the priority. It was just outpour of emotion.
There are so many athletes we're seeing across gymnastics, cricket, rugby and football that have taken time out of their sport to deal with their mental health before coming back in. Did you at any point in that period think, I need to take an extended break away from boxing before coming back in? It wasn't the fact I needed to take a break. You know what it was? I actually watched a lot of fighters, they've taken time out of the game for those reasons as well. And I think, okay, if they've done it, I should be doing it. But I got to look at myself as an individual. And what it is, I feel like if I take time out, I'm letting everyone catch up. And I want to be ahead of the game.
A key criticism of Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua is his prior loss to Tommy Fury, who is still relatively new to professional boxing. If Jake struggled against Fury, how can he expect to compete against an elite-level fighter like Joshua? This has led many to believe that his call-out is more about publicity than a genuine desire to compete at the highest level.
You have got to be taking the mick. Jake Paul has called out Anthony Joshua and claims, I will fucking beat Anthony Joshua's ass. You know what? I want this to happen just so Anthony Joshua could just absolutely decimate this man right here. So first he fights Tommy Fury, a legitimate professional boxer, and he loses. Then he fights an OAP and Mike Tyson and beats him. Obviously, he's nearly 60 years old. Then he goes to try and fight Canelo, which fell through, thankfully. Then he tried to fight Tank Davis, which again fell through. And now he wants to fight Anthony Joshua, a legit world-level heavyweight boxer. Anthony Joshua is someone that I've always looked up to and probably one of my favourite boxers to this day and age. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind Jake Paul here and there, but there's just things he does in the sport that I don't agree with at all. And fighting Anthony Joshua, listen, I'm all here for it, just to see him get knocked clean out. The fact that he thinks he can compete with these high-level boxers, even though he lost to Tommy Fury, is just laughable. But how long does it take for Anthony Joshua to knock Jake Paul out? I'm saying 5 seconds.
Jake Paul's ambitions aren't limited to boxing. He has also expressed interest in fighting UFC superstar Conor McGregor. Paul believes his boxing skills are improving, while McGregor's abilities are declining due to age and inactivity. By calling out McGregor, Jake continues his strategy of challenging high-profile names to increase his influence in combat sports.
You think McGregor's done?
I think he has to come back and fight, but he needs to win.
Will he fight you?
I don't think he will. I think my skill level is outgrowing his in boxing, and I have the height advantage. He can't beat me, and I think he probably knows that. And time, he's only getting older and I'm only getting better.
Another fighter Jake Paul has set his sights on is Javona Tank Davis, who recently fought Lamont Roach and is looking for new opponents. However, the major obstacle is the weight class difference. Jake competes in a much heavier division, while Davis is a lightweight. If this fight were to happen, Jake would need to cut a substantial amount of weight, which could impact his future matchups, including his planned fight with Joshua in 2026. Joe Rogan has speculated that Jake's decision to push the Joshua fight to 2026 instead of 2025 might be an attempt to gain size and possibly use performance-enhancing substances.
So a Tank Davis versus Jake Paul exhibition match was going to take place after the Lamont Roach fight, until Tank drew with Roach, leading to a rematch. Now, I'm going to say the unpopular opinion here, but the size difference would have been way too much. I mean, even if Tank brought Jake down to 190 or 200 pounds, he would have still been way too big. I mean, no matter how good a lightweight is, they would have almost no chance against a cruiserweight or heavyweight ranked top 200 in his division. And I'm sure people are going to bring up Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, but Logan is just not a good boxer relative to Jake. You know, Jake's been training for a couple years, he's had over 10 pro fights, and Mayweather was also junior middleweight in this fight, not a lightweight like Tank. But that being said, I'm glad Tank and Jake isn't happening. You know, it would have been a fun spectacle, but I'm not the biggest fan of the exhibition stuff. And instead now Tank and Roach will be rematching in June. You know, the first fight did a little over 260,000 pay-per-view buys, which isn't bad in this market. Roach absolutely deserves a second fight, so I do think the rematch will do far more numbers. And as for Jake, I want to see him fight big-name boxers around his weight class. You know, the Tommy Fury rematch, for example, he's undefeated. The first fight did a little over 800,000 pay-per-view buys. He's around the same age range, so that's the fight I want to see, not the exhibitions. But let me know what you guys think.